Hey everyone, it's Monday morning at GavsWeatherVids.com, which means only one thing. It's Europe Day. Every Monday at GavsWeatherVids we have a look at weather for the coming week across the continent, and today is going to be no exception. Now, I've got the camera turned off today because my eyes are a little bit sore when I'm doing a video on Sunday night, but hopefully you can hear me okay through the microphone. Now, before I get over European outlook, just want to mention the advertising. There's a video ads on my pages at GavsWeatherVids.com. If you press play on the video ad, you'll be supporting GavsWeatherVids.com. Thanks very much for doing that. The website we're using for the video is weathercentral.de. That's where the charts are coming from. Fabulous German website, so do check out that website when you get the opportunity. So the situation across Europe for the last few weeks has been very mild air has been infiltrating from the Atlantic across most of the continent, and it's still going on today. This is today's Arctic pressure chart. We've got high pressure out to the northeast over central parts of Russia, but low pressure is out in the Atlantic, and between the two, most of Europe actually lies in this very mild southerly to southwesterly wind. The upper air temperatures show this up very nicely. There's virtually no cold upper air anywhere across Europe today, even going back in towards Russia, western Russia anyway. The upper air temperatures are mild. Virtually the whole of the continent having mild upper air temperatures. The dew points, which is a reflection of where we've got low level surface continental cold air, show that we have got a little bit of cold air through these central parts of the continent, particularly through Germany. That's really associated with the dry conditions. There could be some frost and fog in those areas, but basically it's a very mild scene, very mild scene across most of Europe. Rain today shows that we're going to be bringing a band of rain in towards Ireland and possibly coming down in towards the north of Portugal and Spain as well. Perhaps a few showers across southern parts of Spain. Some rain through the British Isles. Most of that will be light and patchy, turning heavier through the North Sea in towards southern Norway. But most of Europe actually dry under that area of high pressure. Lots of dry weather around until we get some snow in the far north of Scandinavia and some heavy thundery showers down across Greece and southeastern parts of Europe. Look how mild it is across the continent. Really spring-like today across France, with temperatures up into the mid-teens, 14, 15, 16 degrees quite widely. That's into the low 60s Fahrenheit. And very mild through Germany as well, and even going further eastwards, I think we're going to find mild temperatures for the time of year. Of course, it's cold once you get up to the northeast, the temperature's 4, 5 or 6 degrees. That's very mild compared to what it could be at this time of the year. Could be some frost across central parts of Europe by night, but it is very mild spring-like by day. Now, as we move through into the middle of the week, this area of low pressure is going to start to move in off the Atlantic. That's bringing slightly more unsettled weather into the northwest of Europe. But basically, high pressure is still ridging from the Atlantic, going up towards west parts of Russia, and many parts of the continent will still be on the mild and reasonably dry side. The upper air temps show that it's cooling off a little bit, but that's still very mild at the time of year. The cold upper air temperatures nowhere to be seen. Have to go right up towards the far north of Scandinavia to find any cold air. Most of Europe is very mild with those upper air temperatures. Dew points show that we've got some low level cold air through parts of eastern Spain, southern France, perhaps going up in towards northeastern Europe. Most of that will just be giving some night frost. It will still be mild generally by day, but of course this over western Russia is harder. There'll be some hard night frost there in western Russia, northeastern parts of Europe, but basically we're struggling to find cold air anywhere across the continent. A little bit more unsettled through the middle of the week, particularly through the British Isles, France, some showers or maybe some longer spells of rain, moving in, another band of rain there, heading towards Ireland and the UK. But eastwards from Germany, it's basically a dry scene, lots of dry weather for central and eastern parts of Europe. Temperatures edging down just a little bit, but it's still very mild, well above average, several degrees, many degrees above average, and still into double figures for much of France and Germany, on in towards Poland as well. The end of the week will turn more unsettled across France and Spain and Portugal. This area of low pressure digging southwards into the Mediterranean. That's going to bring some heavy showers and thunderstorms through southwestern parts of Europe. Also quite unsettled across the British Isles, with some showers and longer spells of rain. Further east it remains drier, and we're still bringing up that very mild southerly wind. The upper air temperatures at the end of the week show that it's still not particularly cold anyway. It's perhaps changed a bit colder for Ireland and the UK, actually, and maybe parts of Sweden and Norway. But basically, it's still a mild scene across most parts of Europe. Dew points again show that it's generally quite mild across most areas. But we are going to have some heavy rain breaking out across France and down into Spain, Portugal, because that will give some snow over the Pyrenees, but it will be generally rain, I think, across France, Spain and Portugal. Also very wet through the central basin of the Mediterranean, so if you're after a bit of a winter break in the next few days to, say, Mallorca or Ibiza, maybe even Minorca as well, there'll be some heavy showers and some thunderstorms, and those may threaten Corsica and Sardinia later on. Really wet across France, Spain, Portugal and the central bulk Mediterranean. Some heavy showers also breaking out for southern parts of Italy. Then in these eastern and southeast areas, mainly dry weather once we go over the Adriatic into the southeast. It's dry from the Adriatic to the Black Sea, going northwards up towards Greece, up towards Poland and the Ukraine. Mainly dry conditions. Snow probably breaking out over Scandinavia and showers along as spells of rain, which could turn winter over high ground for the British Isles. The temperatures at the end of the week showed it's cooling off in the northwest. It's turning a bit colder for Ireland and Britain. Temperatures just going back to where they should be really at this time of the year, but it'll be noticeably colder, as it will for Denmark and much of Scandinavia. Also cooler through France, Spain and Portugal. We'll lose those spring-like temperatures, but conversely in the east of Europe, very mild through the Balkans. Look at those temperatures there around the Balkans, 13, 14, 15 degrees. Absolutely incredible, really, for this time of the year. When you think how cold it could be. Having a quick sneak peek at next weekend, we see unsettled conditions still coming in off the Atlantic into the northwest of Europe, but most areas are under this high pressure out to the southwest. Further east is more unsettled through the central parts, stretching from Scandinavia through Central Europe, down in central part of the Mediterranean. The high pressure sort of retreating away a little bit to the northeast. Still very mild though across most of the continent. It's colder for Ireland, the UK and Scandinavia, but most other areas will be very mild going through to next weekend. Dew points showed it's turning colder in Scandinavia. There'll be some hard night frost and some temperatures by day probably not getting much above freezing, some severe night frosts up there. Elsewhere though, generally quite a mild scene once again. The heavy showers from Spain, Portugal and France have shifted eastwards as we go through to next weekend, so they're mainly from Corsica and Sardinia eastwards through Italy, going down to the southeast of Europe, particularly around Greece. Could be some very wet conditions there, heavy rain and thunderstorms very likely. Drier out to the southwest, unsettled still, some showers through France, also some showers which could turn wintry for Scotland and Northern Ireland, and then most other areas in northern, central and east Europe mainly dry, and it'll still be very mild in the east. Look at those temperatures across eastern Europe, well above average, into the teens. Absolutely incredible for this time of the year, but it is cooler out to West Ireland, Britain, France, Spain, Portugal. We'll see temperatures nearer to normal, and you can't see it, but it's cold over Scandinavia and western, over Scandinavia. Temperatures there will be struggling to get above freezing. There'll be some snow. So in summary, it's a very mild week coming up across most parts of the continent. Temperatures really incredibly warm for this time of year, well above average for most places. It's going to be largely dry in central eastern areas. Will be more unsettled in the west, particularly down in the southwest with some very wet conditions possible later in the week around France, Spain, Portugal. Those will push east through the Mediterranean next weekend, but it's more unsettled in the west, mainly dry in the east, but the main thing is yet another very mild week for most of Europe. That's it for now. Thanks for watching.